Now that the Duke basketball season is back, everybody at the NBA level wants to talk about this roster and the talented players that Duke's got. After having the entire starting five selected last year, is it possible just as many Blue Devils could get picked in 2026?
Hi, everybody. Dick Vitale. Hey, make sure you listen, man, to Locked On Blue Devils with J.J. Jackson. He's awesome, baby.
You are Locked On Blue Devils, your daily podcast on the Duke Blue Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Locked On Blue Devils podcast. My name is J.J. Jackson. It's so great to have you here with us today on Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Locked On Blue Devils is your one-stop shop where we discuss everything going on inside the life of Duke athletics. We talk a whole lot about Duke basketball and Duke football, and on today's show, we're talking about the men's basketball team, so impressive in their exhibition wins, and NBA teams are already starting to salivate over the idea of drafting this Duke basketball squad. So excited to dive into all of that and so much more with our good friend Kevin Connelly from Ball Durham, who joins us on the program today. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On Blue Devils for free, wherever it is that you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating and written review. Take an opportunity to watch us each and every day on YouTube as well. Like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. I'm so pleased with the growth that we're seeing right now in this Locked On Blue Devils community, and that is all thanks to you. Shout out to you guys. Duke fans are the absolute best. So without further ado, Kevin Connelly joins me on the program today. My guy, Kevin, I hope you're doing well. How are things going?
Things are going good, JJ. I'm more impressed to see you dressed to the nines here on this episode.
Look, it's a big day, man. When we're getting set for Duke basketball season being right around the corner, I had to come dressed my best. So, let's get after it, man. Let's talk about this Duke team, and so many people at the next level really intrigued by the roster. It's been fun to see 2 exhibition games already. It's been awesome to see the start of the NBA season, Kevin. And everywhere you turn, there's a Duke player on these NBA teams. And it looks as though we're setting up for another big year with a lot of Duke players potentially getting drafted.
Yeah, listen, JJ, I mean, Duke is slowly but surely taking over the NBA, and I don't even want to know if it's slowly anymore. It is happening at a rapid pace. And this is without 2 of the best, the better, however you want to describe it, players that Duke has produced not playing due to injury, at least right now with Kyrie Irving and Jason Tatum. So it has been a really impressive start to the NBA season for a lot of these former Blue Devils, and it has been a very impressive start and end to the preseason for the current Blue Devils.
Without a doubt. I mean, we're going to get into that. I do want to start talking the NBA and the next level for the Duke basketball team because, again, with what people have seen so far out of Duke, the hype was there before the exhibition games were even played. Now that they're starting to get evidence, it's going to become such a big part of the conversation this season while we're watching it unfold. Like, wow, this Khamenia and Boozer guy, he's absolutely going to be one of the top picks going into next season. Now that you got a 24-point, 23-rebound game, a 33-point, 12-rebound game, I mean, it's just going to continue to build more and more momentum. And the NBA folks, of course, want to talk about Duke basketball players.
All right, JJ, I'm gonna start stretching here. I'm gonna get ready. You're bringing up Khamenia and Boozer. I'm gonna say it. I said it on my podcast on Monday when I was talking about this exhibition scrimmage. I got to brace yourself. I hope your listeners brace yourself.
We're ready.
Khamenia and Boozer is going to be more important to this Duke basketball team than Cooper Flagg was to last year's Duke basketball team.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying Khamenia and Boozer is a better player than Cooper Flagg. I'm just saying the pure importance to the team's success, Cam Boozer is going to be more important than Cooper Flagg because we saw Duke perform very well and win an ACC tournament without Cooper Flagg. It's only 2 exhibition games, and I think everybody deserves one flaming hot take in the preseason, right? Regular season, you could fire off your hot takes after every game, and so be it. But in the preseason, you only get one. And this is going to be mine because take Khamenia and Boozer off this team. Are they that good?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
and I don't mean that as a negative. I really don't. But like, and you could probably say that about a lot of teams. Take your best player off the team. Is the team that good? And the answer probably more often than not is not really. But like, take Khamenia Boozer off this team. What are they?
Yeah, who are they? I mean, what's the next
Yeah.
jump? Who's the next guy? I mean, for Duke last season, you had Cooper Flagg, and then Connelly and Tyrese Proctor are equally right there in importance for what Duke wanted to do. Malawach, Sion James, all the guys there making plays for Duke. Cam Boozer to Isaiah Evans, that's a bigger drop off. And then I think from Isaiah Evans down underneath to Ngongba, the mix, like huge compared to last season. I think you're spot on, Kev.
Yeah, now we're going to talk about where guys are projected to be in the NBA draft off this team, and Duke very well could have 4 of their 5 starters drafted, and it could be 5 overall players, but it's not necessarily the full starting 5 as compared to last year when every single starter got drafted and 3 of them were top 10 picks. So, I just think Khamenia Boozer is going to be much more important to the success of this year's Duke team than Cooper Flagg was to the success of last year's Duke team. That's my preseason hot take that I have after 2 exhibition games.
Okay, so here is a visual that we've got for folks watching here on YouTube that we were able to post on social media. You can find this at LO_Blue Devils on X, also on TikTok and Instagram. Search Locked On Blue Devils. It's on our YouTube posts feed as well. Taking a look at where Duke is at going into this season, the way too early mock drafts that have been put out by ESPN and by Bleacher Report. And keep in mind, these were produced before either of the exhibition games. So before you saw a 24-point and 23 rebound performance from Khamenia Boozer, you could see here notably top 3 pick for Cam Boozer in both of these mock drafts. And it's going to be a guy that we're talking about all season long, fighting for that number 1 overall pick, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it's a consensus right now of the top 3 picks in whatever order you want to pick them, with AJ Dybantsa, Khamenia Boozer, and Darryn Peterson. And one other thing I'm going to add, JJ, and I don't know if this is a hot take. I think this is going to be the most competitive race to be the number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft that we've seen in many, many years, because typically we've known who was going to be the number 1 overall pick months in advance.
Yeah.
Zion Williamson, Cooper Flagg, Victor Wembanyama. You could fill in other gaps along there. But the race to be the number 1 pick this year is going to be fascinating to watch between these 3 freshmen. And when you watch them play in their exhibitions, they've all just been sensational. Dybantsa had 30. I think it was against Carolina. Peterson was 6 of 9 from 3-point range for almost 30 against Louisville. And then we know what Khamenia Boozer did against UCF and against Tennessee. It's going to be really fascinating. And I think it's a lock for him to be at least the top 3 pick. I think he's going to continue to push for the number 1 overall pick.
I don't think that's far off. I like that point that you make about how competitive it's going to be throughout the course of the year at the top. I got to go back to 24, right? Was a not as regarded of a draft class where you've got Zach Richelet going 1. Richelet, Alex Sarr, Reed Shepherd, your top 3. Not a whole lot of buzz in that class. The 22 draft, where we saw Paolo Banchero go number 1. Remember, going into it, Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren were viewed as possibly going number 1, and it wasn't really until the last day or so that Paolo took that last one. We could be gearing up for one of those, man, like you're saying, with the kind of back and forth that we'll see for that top pick.
Yeah, that draft was the first one that came to my mind where it was like really uncertain. I think you could even push it to like an hour or 2 before the draft, before like reports started coming out that it's like, okay, Orlando's going to take Paolo. And
when
that
Woj bombs were still a thing.
Yeah, like that was a surprise to a lot of people. Now, I always said going into that draft, I thought he was the best player and the most pro-ready, and it's kind of proven out that way.
Yep.
Yeah, so like they made the right pick, but but given the star power of these 3 guys at the top, I think it might be even more competitive than Paolo's draft at the top 3 choices.
All right, so let's continue talking about this. This is good stuff, looking at the draft and where people view these Duke basketball players going into this upcoming basketball season. We'll continue that. I want to get into Dame Sarr and a couple of the other top Blue Devils in just a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends at Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride, with more IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else as of August 2025. From footwork to breathwork, athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings the same intention to how we craft every model. You can make everyday drives feel like anything but, from smooth handling to intuitive controls. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost any season. Like our players, we sweat every detail because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move or be moved, a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. All right, we continue moving forward. Kevin Connelly's here with me today, hanging out on the show, talking about the Duke basketball team ahead of the upcoming season and taking a look at the 2026 NBA mock drafts that were put out preseason here from ESPN and Bleacher Report. Just talked about Cam Boozer. Let's go to Dame Sarr. ESPN's got him slotted 9th overall to the Memphis Grizzlies, and 17th overall to the Bucks from the Bleacher Report mock draft. What do we think? What are we seeing from Dame?
You know, it's tough to really break down his game because we only have one exhibition game on tape for him, and I don't want to be too critical. I was surprised he played. I don't know about you, JJ, especially when you listen to John Shire's comments after the UCF game.
I was shocked.
It kind of seemed like they held Malik Brown out of that game as a precaution, and it was more likely that he was going to play against Tennessee than Sarr, who kind of just popped up with this oblique injury. And I mean, if you follow baseball, obliques can be serious and they can last weeks and into months, and you're kind of concerned. And then a couple hours before the game, when Duke tweets out the injury report and it's like Brown out, Sarr in, I was really surprised. So I'm not going to be overly critical about Dame Sarr, especially in the countdown scrimmage. I think you saw the athleticism. You saw things that he was able to do. Now, the one thing I will mention, 4 fouls in 17 minutes. Maybe that has to be cleaned up. But what have I been saying since the summer, JJ, is it is going to take time with Dame Sarr because yes, he's a professional basketball player overseas, but it's a completely different game to college basketball. It's going to take time for him. And I really would expect him to continue to come off the bench going forward for this Duke team. And that's not a negative on him. That's just kind of by default. He gets set back because he misses a couple of practices due to injury. So I think on Tuesday, when the ball gets thrown up against Texas, I think it's going to be Foster, Evans, Khamenia, Boozer, and Ngongba as your starting 5 on opening night.
I think we will, though, throughout the course of the year, see things in Dame Sarr's game that at the next level they're going to be really fascinated with, right? The size, the length. I mean, just watching him in the Tennessee game, I'm with you, shocked that this man went out there and played. Just given the conversation from Coach Shire going into it, when you watch him play, the wingspan, just like he just looks long, right? And like he can impact things on the defensive end of the floor. Not always awesome when the first shot hits the side of the backboard, but hey, we've been there before, and now
get the jitters out.
Yeah, get the jitters out, and you got that out of the way. Now you can play great basketball moving forward. So,
and it's great when you hit the side of the backboard in a game that doesn't count.
Correct. No one saw it. We're going to just delete it from the internet forever. It never happened. I don't know what people are talking about. It was AI. That's what it was. We didn't actually do that. All right, let's go to Isaiah Evans. All right, so Slim is someone who is in both of these drafts, and that's why I'll go to him next. You see 16th overall to Memphis in the ESPN mock draft, 24th to the New York Knicks from Bleacher Report. God, I'd love to see that man playing for the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, just shooting it from the outside. He's got to show more to his game than just the three-point shot, I think. But listen, if he shoots it at a 42% clip again this year, that's absolutely worthy of first-round conversation because teams at that point are like, all right, this guy's playing for Duke, and yet again, he's shooting it at this high of a clip. If you can shoot it, you can have a long career in the NBA. Yeah,
listen, JJ. So I think in terms of college basketball, because college basketball and the NBA are completely different games as well, right? So in terms of college basketball, we want to see Isaiah Evans round out his game more to help this team have success because teams are going to sit on him as a three-point shooter. And yes, that'll help him in the NBA, but in the NBA, as long as he puts more muscle on and builds out his frame, he can be as great of a 3-and-D guy as you could possibly want, or just a three-point specialist who comes out, sits around the outside, and shoots the ball, because that's what he does. He is a shooter. He has a limitless range. But in terms of college basketball and for this team's success, that's when we talk about wanting to round out his game a little bit more, which certainly NBA teams would love to see as well.
I'm excited to see a more evolved version of Slim. When he had that dunk to open up the second half against Tennessee, all of that. I want those plays all the time, in addition to knocking down the threes from the outside, giving us the Slim three-point celebration as I'm doing here on YouTube. All of it. Go after everybody, Isaiah Evans. I'm excited to see this guy keep expanding his game.
Well, just one thing to mention, that dunk was his only other made field goal that wasn't a three-pointer.
Right. And
So
in the first game against UCF, right, I think it was just the and one kind of finish that he had on the, or we went it coast to coast after the block, and then he went and finished it, a layup on the other end. So still, it's a lot of three-pointers. Hopefully we see a little bit more to the offensive game there.
He had the other play as well. I think it was in the second half where he tried to catch another body.
Right.
And just banged it off the back rim. So, like, you're seeing some more aggression, and especially good to see against a team like Tennessee, who has athletes, who has guys that can match his size, and to be honest, who has guys that are stronger than him physically right now.
And go to the free throw line, Kevin, because we know he can shoot it. Like, go to the free throw line, invite that contact. All right, another guy featured in both mock drafts early, Patrick Ngongba II. So this is a guy in Big Pat who's 38th by ESPN to the Portland Trailblazers. That is a second-round selection, but 22 to the Golden State Warriors in the Bleacher Report selection. So all told, from Bleacher Report and ESPN, that is 4 players for Duke that are featured in both mock drafts. Cam Boozer, Dame Sarr, Isaiah Evans, Pat Ngongba. Let's go to Big Pat, Kev.
I'm taking a deep breath because he did not play well against UCF. He did not play well in the first half against Tennessee. He played great in the second half of that exhibition against the Volunteers. And it's like, I had such high expectations for him, and you saw some potential, right? He is a phenomenal passing big. And I think that's going to be really good, like a two-man game with him and Cam Boozer. Now, the lineup with Cam and Pat didn't necessarily look great against the Knights. It looked better against Tennessee, specifically in that second half. And, for Pat, I think it's athleticism. It's getting a little bit quicker. It's showing that you can step outside and hit a three-point shot that is going to elevate his draft stock, because he has the body, he has the frame. Does he have the defensive abilities? I think so, but we still might have to see that. But his ability to pass the ball as a big man out on the perimeter is really something special.
All right, so the last thing that we want to talk at when we're looking at these drafts is the final 2 guys here, Nick Khamenia and Cayden Boozer. This was super interesting to me, just the varying opinions that are out there on these guys already. They're featured in 1 draft each. You've got in ESPN, Nick Khamenia, 13th overall to the Dallas Mavericks. That's a lottery pick. You've got Cayden Boozer in the Bleacher Report mock draft, 11th overall to the Sacramento Kings. That's a lottery pick. But the other draft didn't have these guys. Like, that's so interesting to me that the discourse is all over the place with these guys. I think they clearly are going to have what it takes to play at the next level someday. I wonder if it will be after their freshman season, if they're already kind of these varying opinions on this. But man, what we've seen out of exhibition play from Nick Khamenia, I love it. It's been a little up and down from Cayden Boozer so far in the 2 games, but I'm still buying stock there. What do you make of this?
Well, certainly you could buy the stock, but like, I'm pumping the brakes on 11th overall and 13th overall.
Yeah.
Like, let's slow down here. Like, Khamenia, one thing I've noticed, it's like a lot of the dirty work, right? This stuff hasn't been flashy, but he's willing to rebound. He's willing to get in and box out.
Which is awesome. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a lot of the things that don't necessarily show up on the box score. But like 13th overall, and I know a lot of the NBA draft is based on potential, but like 13th overall. Like, again, let's pump the brakes and let's see how things shake out here. And with Cayden Boozer, I'm not going to say it's clickbaity just because, the Boozer twins are projected to go in the lottery. Like, okay, like that'll get clicks. That'll be a headline. But like, I liked what I saw against UCF. I think it took him a half to realize the speed and physicality of the game that we talked about last week. Against Tennessee, like, it wasn't that great of a game. And I don't really want to dive so deep into exhibitions. I mean, he only played 15 minutes. I think there's going to be a chance for him to get legitimate minutes because Caleb Foster, he's been serviceable for these two exhibition games. But, like, has anything he done wowed you and stood out at you and said, yeah, for sure, that guy's the Duke point guard and nothing's going to change my mind about that? No, and I think you'd be foolish to say that. So, yes, I think Cayden Boozer has a very, very bright future. I still think he has a lot to learn at the college level. But 11th overall, I don't want to say give me a break, but, like, come back to earth. Come back to earth. Let's talk in reality right now.
Yeah, let's see a little more basketball for both of these guys before we jump to that point of the lottery pick selections for them, especially just being so off. Like, if the other draft for each of them had them selected anywhere within the 60 picks, you might be onto something. They're both clearly going to play in the NBA at some point in their careers, but hey, if they've got a couple of seasons in Durham, I'll take it, and it's going to be good for this Duke team to sort of sit there and build around. All right, as we get set to go to our final timeout on the program today, do want to get folks ready for this big football game coming up for the Blue Devils this weekend. Duke getting set to take on Clemson in a big-time showdown that's coming up in a moment. Locked On Blue Devils here today is brought to you by our friends over at Peloton, shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus, powered by Peloton IQ. The most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move. Whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors, this is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. I love how the Peloton IQ system offers real-time strength coaching. It actually tracks your reps, suggests the right weights, and corrects your form, making every rep safer and smarter. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. Peloton is a proud sponsor of Locked On Blue Devils. All right, here we go. Kevin Connelly's here with me from Ball Durham and also the Believe in Duke Football podcast. We're believing in Duke football right now as Duke's coming off the bye this weekend. They'll be taking on Clemson on the road. It has now passed us, Kevin, but we can all kind of sit here and think about the schedule that just played out. Our friends in Chapel Hill did the same thing. Still, the last chance for us to talk about this. Very silly that there's a bye week, you play a game, and then another bye week that we just had to endure.
Yes, but I think we might have a different tune if Duke had beaten Georgia Tech. It's like, okay, you had a bye week going into this game to really prepare things, and you won the game, and now you're able to come down off that high a little bit, take some time off, refocus, and then get ready for a road game at Clemson. I think that it could have been you work it together in your mind where it's a good thing if you had won that game. Now that you lost that game, it's like you're sitting on it for a week, and you're seeing all these other scores come in around the ACC, and you kind of saw your chance of potentially making the ACC tournament, the ACC title game go up in smoke. And it's like, all right, like, what are we going to do here? Like, now we just have to get bowl eligible. Although there is still a chance theoretically that they could make the ACC championship game. They'd have to win out and I guess get some help.
Yeah, so we look at this game coming up on Saturday now at Clemson. This is a big showdown. Obviously, Clemson has been the staple, the team at the top of the league for so long. And here we are looking at a sub-500 Clemson football team right now and a Duke team that you said coming off that Georgia Tech loss. When we look at Clemson in this particular matchup, what kind of stands out to you, Kevin?
I think first you have to go to the quarterback, right? Clemson is also coming off of a bye week. Cade Klubnik did not play in their last game, which was a loss at home against SMU due to injury. The last update I saw, which was from Monday, Dabo Swinney said that he has practiced. So the fact that he practiced is kind of making me think that he could be playing in this game, and especially coming off a bye week. And I know it was a game time decision for him 2 weeks ago against SMU that he couldn't go. It was always expected for him to play here against Duke. But I think this has to be the most vulnerable Clemson has been, and teams aren't necessarily afraid to go in there and play them. I mean, you saw Syracuse go in there and beat them. You saw Troy give them a run for all they could have possibly asked for early in the season. So I think if this is a Duke team that goes in there and is able to put a competitive game together and you have a chance in the fourth quarter, you probably feel good about yourself. I don't know what the line is on this game right away, but I would imagine Clemson is probably close to a touchdown favorite, maybe a little less. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how this Duke team bounces back from the loss to Georgia Tech and sitting on it for a week, because we mentioned that Duke team, especially the defense, they deserve to win. It was just the little things that add up and ultimately cost them that football game. We'll see if they're able to correct any of that against Clemson, because when this team has lost football games, it has really been self-inflicted wounds of turnovers and not cashing in when you get into the red zone. They put up a ton of yardage and a ton of great stats, but it doesn't always translate to the scoreboard.
Well, I'm glad you asked about the line, Kevin, because right now Clemson, from our friends at FanDuel, Clemson is favored by 3.5. 3.5 point home favorites for Clemson against this Duke team. I'll take it. I mean, in some ways you look at this and it's, again, Duke's got the 4-3 record. Clemson is 3-4. And, you're the underdog going into a game like this. Kind of speaks to what we've seen from these programs historically. But if Duke plays at their best, and what we've seen from Clemson so far this season, Duke should expect to win this game. Like, they should feel good about their chances going into a game like this.
Yeah, they absolutely should. But it is, can you stop the run? Can you get off the field on third down? And when you're moving the ball downfield, can you score and not settle for field goals? And then we know what happened against Georgia Tech. You settle for a field goal and you botch the hold and it turns into a disaster. So, there's still questions around this Duke team. I think certainly they have talent. They have a great quarterback. It's very easy to see how they play well in their wins in that 3-game winning streak against NC State, Syracuse, and Cal. And then really in their 3 other losses, Illinois, Tulane, and Georgia Tech, a lot of the same issues keep coming up time and time again.
I'm going to be following it. I know that you will as well, Kevin. Tell us a little bit about all your coverage from Ball Durham to the podcast. Like, how can people get involved and support you?
Yeah, you could come read me over at balldurham.com, writing about Duke basketball, this team, the exhibitions, looking forward to getting into the season on Tuesday. And then the Believe in Duke Football podcast. We talk Duke football, we talk Duke basketball, and that comes out every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday on Apple and on Spotify.
Perfect. Kevin, good to see you, man. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, JJ.
All right, that's Kevin Connelly joining us here on today's episode of Locked on Blue Devils. Go support his work. Let's get ready for this Duke football game coming up this weekend. And let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the varying opinions on this Duke basketball team in regards to NBA drafts going into 2026? Just a few days away from the start of a brand new Duke basketball season when they begin the year on Tuesday against Texas. That'll do it for today's show. As always, go Duke. I'll talk to you again tomorrow. My name is JJ Jackson. Thank you and good day.